Hi, Dr. Dennis Brummond, DC, here at Stillwater Family Chiropractic, and we're returning back to Book Talk Tuesday. We missed last Tuesday, so we're covering again A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. That's our book of the month. And for you, we're going to go through 4 chapters just to touch a little bit on it. Remember, the book is about trying to have a better earth, a new earth, a new awakening that Eckhart Tolle talks about. And just think about that something is, wouldn't we all want to have a more conscious, a more kind planet? Well, the book talks about steps that we can take to help, right? Like a lot of us would say we know the world could use some changing and improvement, but we can't really change anybody else. So when you start to realize, all right, let's start working on ourselves. This book is a guide on how can we work on improving ourselves from the inside out. Something that we're always here talking about at our chiropractic office is how do we self-improve, working on our physical health, our mental health, and our emotional health and well-being. So chapter 5, we're going to talk or discuss here it's called the pain body. Really interesting concept that I share with patients a lot of times when you start to realize, aren't we all under a lot of stress at times? And Eckhart Tolle talks about it's our pain body that triggers a lot of stress in us, and we don't realize that the pain body is coming from the old reptilian brain that we discussed many times here, to realize, when you start to realize, oh, that could have come from the DNA from our ancient ancestors passed on through our grandparents, and that we recognize that animal nature, or think of it as a pain body, and that can generate a lot of stress in our minds. So you just want to understand it's not your fault, that stress can come from old DNA in our body or the reptilian brain. And if you start to realize, oh, that's not really me, it's just old patterns in me, then you can figure out what to do about it. So you start to first realize it's not your problem personally, but it can come from that old reptilian brain or old pain patterns. So recognize that, oh, we all have that. We all can get triggered and act. Don't you ever have that in your life where you go, okay, why did I just do that? Or I overreacted to my kids, or I said something to my husband and I didn't want to do that. Well, yeah, you didn't want to because it was a reaction from an old pain body experience. So he talks about that in here. Chapter 6, then we're going to jump through. He says, okay, well, how do we break free from some of that? That's where you're going to find meditation and being able to move your consciousness up to your, I call it the human neocortex, the new part of the mind, that you actually can have a choice in this. First, you have to become aware of the pain body, that when it goes to take you over, and then become aware of it. So you can use different techniques like meditation and taking some breathing techniques. You've heard of all kinds of different ways to do it, but how do we break free from or rise above that reaction? And what you're looking for here is you're going to react. There's probably 1 in 1,000 people that are at a level of consciousness that they don't even react anymore. We want to get to that point, but you want to start to see that, okay, catching that reaction sooner is very helpful than really going into full-blown reaction. Exercise can help with that to reduce some of that stress and tension. That's chapter 6, I believe. Chapter 7, he says, finding who you truly are. Isn't that an interesting concept? So this chapter he talks about that when you start to find out there's more to you than just the pain body, and that's the great awakening that's also happening, I believe, globally, as people start to realize, is there more to me than just the physical form, just the body? And that you realize, no, there's a humaneness about me, a human being that's there, right? And so the more and more you can realize that there's more to you than just your physical form, and there's all kinds of religions that talk about this, but what matters is how deeply do you really believe that and understand that for yourselves? So he discusses that there's more to you than just your body and your physical form. And then the next chapter he discusses the discovery of inner space, or the new research right now. One of the cutting edge guys is doing some great research on finding out that the deeper part of you, when you get to pure consciousness, pure awareness that you are, when you remove all thoughts about your body, all thoughts about object consciousness, forms and things, and you remove all of those different things and you start to realize, wow, there's still an awareness in me that's conscious. I call that higher consciousness, the human being part of you that's aware, that's very peaceful and can be very calm. And so the more you can get to that part of yourself, right, that's what we all want, that more connection, that calmness. You reduce the stress and tension from the old animal part. And the more you can connect to that, the more you build that up in yourself. So those are 4 of the chapters that he goes through, and he talks about some of those techniques. So really powerful stuff. I think you might find it really interesting. So we'll see you next Tuesday.